So we're going to begin today working with the pump. So we're going to begin with the pump, and then we're going to move into the electromagnetic exercises. Just a quick understanding of that is that gases themselves are influenced by magnetic fields. And so it really helps to charge the body, ionize the body, and then really get into the isometrics of building the body's electromagnetism. We're in this class also working with gravity. There is a different form of gravity that we work with. We work one with yielding to gravity. I explained that in the last class, and we'll just keep going over that as we go. But we're also going to work with the idea that gravity itself is not just, like this downward pull. Gravity is also repulsive as well. It has two identities. However, gravity and levity are also the same force. So it's kind of like when you have the yin-yang, and you have the black and you have the white, and you've got that line. And so it's the three of these things kind of coming together that helps to bind our functions in this way, organize our functions in this way. And of course, it's organized around the breath. And so that's what we're going to get into most first. You don't want to just start charging your electromagnetic body all the time without really pumping the breath, because you want to make sure that the cavities are open, that everything is open and flowing and moving, okay? So we're going to begin, again, just bringing the hands to the side. Again, it helps if you can find a spot on the floor where you can keep your feet even. Just so this helps you with angles. And more as we go, we'll even focus more and more on angles. I'm not as a stickler right in the very beginning, but as we go, then we really have to start getting more and more into the angles. So again, pushing into the ground is always going to get us a deeper breath. It's going to help us to swell the core. So we're going to push into the ground, drawing up nice and slow, reaching up. And you want to open the fingers. So again, you want to feel that this is a pump. So even if you're having issues with the shoulder, you don't have to bring it all the way up, but you do want to stretch your hands and your fingers and the joints. And then breathe out, coming back down nice and slow. We're going to push the hips forward and reach back. Then breathe in. The hips just come back to neutral when you push into the ground, coming up nice and slow. Feel the joints open, pushing into the ground, and then sinking again. Feel it coming back. So it's kind of like stretching an elastic band, and then letting that elastic band slowly go back. What you want to be careful not to do is to hold the breath. So we don't want to get any hypoxia going here. Right now it's just a nice stream. If anything, lengthen your exhalation, and you'll get a deeper inhalation. So what we do want to do is keep the tip of the tongue connected to the root of the palate, just behind the top front teeth, helping to keep the throat open and moist. And keep the teeth aligned with each other, the front teeth and the bottom teeth, or the top front and the top bottom. When you come back, try to keep the elbows in. Try to feel that your sternum is your sternum is opening, but your scapula is coming together like this. You don't have to pinch it, and don't bring force into it, but allow it to come together. We build a lot of acids in this area, and so doing this pump in the beginning really helps the area between the shoulder blades. So we can go further from here. We're going to breathe in, coming up. And as you breathe out, bringing the arms down, I'm going to slowly move to the right. Reaching back. You want to come down so that you're not lifting the shoulder when you're coming up. So again, you want to reach. Try to feel the joints opening. I'll show you the wrong way. Try not to do this. What you want to try to do is lengthen the movement and work through the relationship between the elbow, the shoulder, and the hip, the way that it moves through. Coming back. Turn the hands at the heart center, coming back down. One hand is pushing, one hand is pulling. What you want to try to avoid is shifting your weight from leg to leg. Try to keep the weight even in both legs. You want to get more of a twist. Yeah, so as you come, so this is a good question. Whenever you go into a twist, you want to breathe out. And then when you're coming out of the twist, you want to breathe in. It's kind of like a sponge. You're squeezing out the sponge. And then the sponge absorbs. Bend the knees a little bit when you're turning. And then straighten the knees a little bit when you come up. And then bend the knees when you come back through a little bit. And then straighten again. Because you're breathing in, so when you're coming back this way, you definitely want to make sure that's when you're definitely pushing into the ground. But it really helps to do it at the end of each one. Pay attention to the sensations in the hands. You're going to change it up in a moment. We're going to bring it down. Again, push into the ground, but this time, if you can, come all the way over. Again, if there's shoulder issues, you can come out this way. But do make sure you push into the floor. Especially by the time you come over, you want to lift up out of the hip. So you want to feel that you're literally opening from here. What you don't want to feel is compression in your lower back or your hips. So you want to feel how that opens as you come over, then let it come back down. We're slowly rebuilding the elasticin in our body, which is a very important hormone for flexibility and youth. Try also to keep a straight posture through the whole movement as well. You don't want to come forward. If you start coming forward, then you're going to put a lot of pressure onto your lower back and onto the front of your knees. So you want to make sure that you're holding the plumb line, and the plumb line is the crown in alignment with the anus. This is the natural flow of gravity and fluid. Okay, now we're going to bring it down, open the hands to either side. We're going to bring the feet in to shoulder width, inner shoulder width. Pushing into the ground, we're going to come up. By the time you reach the mid-shoulder area, this is where you're going to have rotation occur. You're going to come up like this, push into the ground, press, breathe out, come back down. Again, let it rotate. We're going to work the chin pump and the sacral pump at the same time. So as we breathe in, pushing into the ground, raising the chin, lifting the tailbone back, like, you know that little look right? You want to just lift it right up, accentuate it, lift it. Then when you come back down, tuck the tailbone, accentuate it, tuck the chin. So what you're going to feel here is your spine lengthening, and then your spine contracting. Then your spine lengthening, and then your spine contracting. When I'm coming up, the spine is concave. The chest is convex. Then when I come back down, the chest becomes more convex, only a little, because it's more core, and tucking of the chin, so that you're getting a nice roundedness of your spine like that. But the spine is still being supported by the core. And so we press behind, coming up. Okay, so we'll come back up. And we'll move through some flows. We're going to come down nice and slow. Bring the right hand through the front, left hand through the back. Just reach for each wall, but try not to go, this arm here, try not to let that go higher than your shoulder, but the elbow should be dropped. This hand back here, you want to try to roll back through the shoulder and give a nice little reach. So what you're feeling is just a nice gentle twist in the hips and in the core. And then come up, push into the ground. Breathing back out, nice and gentle. When you come back through, lead with your elbows first. That way you get kind of like that wing effect. And then out through the wrist, and then out through the fingers. it really helps to kind of get like that wave-like movement moving through your body. In Taiji, we can nickname it the soft whip in a way. Not exactly Fajin, but you can imagine a soft whip in the way that it would come out. And again, it's good to push into the ground here, and then when you come through, bend the knees. One thing I like to do is once I get to about here, where your hands are parallel with each other on either side of your body, that's when I like to just completely relax the arms for a moment. That's when the hands are going to drop, and you're still moving through your core, and you can let it relax down through here so that you're not holding tension in your shoulders by the time you move into the twist, the next twist. So feel the weight of your arms. You want to feel your arms getting heavy as you're coming down. And then because you push into the ground, you feel the arms getting lighter because the mechanics of your body, the joints are all supporting each other and opening. You'll start to learn that your joints are magnets. They're magnetic pumps. But that's all really learned through sensation. You're going to come up and press. Breathe out as you come down nice and slow. Again, let the shoulders rotate naturally, coming down, and we're going to push the arms against the body. But you want to, right from the elbow, the armpit, squeezing, the wrist, everything squeezing. But reach down when you do this as well. You want to feel that you're trying to draw the shoulders down. Then when you breathe in, push into the ground, coming up, let it naturally rotate. Come back down. One thing that we want to kind of try to avoid, I see this in Western yoga especially, is, and even in some Qi Gong, Western Qi Gong, that they'll turn the hands out like this and come up. Well, that can work if you're coming up like that and then down, but once you pass the threshold of the rotator cuff, you're grinding your rotator cuff. And doing this will just destroy the rotator cuff. So we want to avoid that. We want to make sure that pushing into the ground is building a relationship between your hips and your shoulders so that as you're coming up, everything's rotating naturally. And then bringing it back down. Press the body and reach down. Really contract your breath. Then breathe in, swell the core. Push into your heels, push into your toes. Breathe out, sink. Let the knees bend a little bit. Pull the belly in and up. Press. Bring the elbows back up just a little bit too so that you feel you're opening the sternum. Getting lung 1 and lung 2 points to open. Now, of course, try to breathe at your own pace and move at your pace. Don't move at my pace. So we're going to start keeping the eyes up for a little bit. Keeping the eyes up keeps the internal wheel moving, but at the same time, it keeps Qi from dropping and lowering. So we want to keep the eyes up, getting light under this area here. It tends to not get enough light. One last press. And bring the hands out to the sides, palms facing forward. We're going to breathe in. If you can, you're going to bring the knee up. Press it with the opposite hand until there's no more exhalation. Then switch, come back down. Let yourself ground through that side. What you want to avoid is the oscillation effect where you start building up this momentum of going side to side. It's a really fast way to lose your balance. So take that time, feel that leg connect with the earth, feel the quadriceps relax before you move to the next leg. So you're going to breathe out all the way. And again, go at your pace, and then breathe in. The other hand that's extended out also helps you to counterbalance. Reach with it when you go, and you'll actually feel it opening. You'll feel the tendons getting a nice opening with it too. Open the fingers, and then relax it when you come back down. And try to keep the hand around the waist level though, so that you're not stressing out the shoulder. But still reach, open the arm. And we'll do one more each side. And ground it. So open the hands, kind of stretch the hands a little bit. Keep the elbows back. So I call this Gunslinger. And so Gunslinger is kind of like, like in the Old West when they do this. So whenever I say Gunslinger, it just means draw your elbows back. Close the eyes for a moment and try to feel the relationship between your hands and the ground, the pulses. Then we're going to move the hands over the dantian, bringing the thumbs together over the navel, inverted triangle. So the inverted triangle, if you're able to get the middle fingers to come together, so you've got the triangle and then you've got the capstone floating above it, so to say. Okay. Draw the elbows back. Push into your hands with your belly. And then when you breathe out, just gently push the hands against the belly. And then from here, we're going to breathe in, open, shift again. Foot comes forward, just the toe touches. So you kind of come down into just a little squat, not a deep squat, it's just a little squat. But bring the bum down like you're going to sit on a chair. That way you're not getting pressure in the knee. You don't want pressure in the knee, so you need to bring the buttocks back if you're feeling that. Then breathe out, bring it back to the dantian. Then breathing in. Bring it back, settle it. Again, breathe into the dantian a few times here, push into the hand. Breathe out, pushing the hand in. So the dantian is also the second chakra, the hara. Just right in this area. more with the ground now. So you're gonna bring the hands out and getting a nice sway. So you're gonna come through, just a little bit of a twist. Don't overreach, in fact, hardly reach at all. That way you stay in your center. You can reach through the arm, but don't come out to reach. So here's the breath, gonna come through. Once you reach the center, breathe out. Then breathe in. You're just working with the twist and the pump. Instead of controlling the breath, just let the movement work with the breath so that it just pumps nice and easy and naturally. So the internal hand comes through along the waistline. So we're going to work within a plane. That plane is going to be along the dantian. So imagine that you're in water. Your hands are on the surface of the water. They never come off the surface of the water, and they don't break the surface of the water. That way you have an understanding of the plane you're working on, and you're just going to move through, come through. Of course, you might find yourself coming up a little bit, going down a little bit. That's normal. But try not to, like, you know, overdo it. Try to keep them aligned with each other as much as you can. Again, let's try to keep the eyes up. Keeping the eyes up in our practice is also really good for the mood. It helps combat depression as well, or depressive negative emotions. So what we want to try to do is to get the elbow and the shoulder to relax with each other, so that as you're moving, you're not feeling tension. Anyone ever see a magnet bar? You know what I mean by magnet bar? It's just like a little bar. Yeah. One side is north, one side is south. Somewhere they meet in the middle, right? Every bone in your body is a magnet bar. It's packed with minerals. A lot of this is magnetic as well, electromagnetic. And so we want to get these areas, the relationship to relax of the muscles and the tendons that are deteriorating bone. You want to get them to relax. And so working and keeping the elbow low, this is the goal, is to keep trying to get the elbow to get low so that you can release this tension between here and there, which will then release the tension of your neck into your shoulder as well. So we're going to go up a plane now to the heart chakra, but we're going to keep the elbows down still a little bit. Just a little bit. Enough that you feel that it's not creating any tension in your shoulders. Okay, now let's start opening this area more. So as you come across, then you want to apply a little push into the ground through the same leg. So as I'm coming through, just a little push though, not much. Just enough that you can feel more extension happening in the joints of the arm and the hip. And then inhale back out. Okay, now we're going to turn the hands forward. So this is just natural breathing. So you're still working with the pump, but just breathing naturally now. Breathing with the core. So what I'm doing here though is I'm moving my elbow from here, like this, to here, and then coming back through. So I'm moving the waist with it. The waist is pretty much almost always moving with us. You'll notice that in a lot of martial arts too, that they're moving from the waist a lot. So this being tiger style, this one here, this is really nice to bring your imagination into. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine that you've got big, huge paws. Make them big in your mind. Try to feel your hands getting bigger. It's a concentration. You really got to go into it. Bring in the imagination. Feel them as paws. Feel how big they are, how supportive they are. How soft and supple they are, but yet how strong and dangerous they can be. How playful they can be, but how serious they can be. The rest of the arm is relaxed. Your bicep, your tricep is relaxed. The forearm is relaxed. The shoulders are relaxed. But the hands are big. Moving from your waist. Okay, we're going to stop, bring the arms back, breathe out, push out, nice and slow. Right out through the fingers, breathe in. We're going to lift the shoulders, push into the ground, breathe out. So you want to feel your shoulders going in a circle, like that. Lifting the rib cage, trying to get it unstuck as well. You want to make sure that when you're lifting the shoulders and the rib cage that you're not breathing up though. You're breathing down into the core. You still don't want to trigger cortisol. So you don't want to go into stress breathing. You want to move the pressure of the breath down into the hips, but lift the shoulders and the rib cage. So of course your diaphragm goes down as your rib cage is coming up and your shoulders are coming up with it. And when you go forward, it's like a push. Then an extension, and then pull it back. going to start working on our field. So we're going to bring it up, over the head, bring it down. Going to go down the inside of the legs, breathing out. If you can get down to the ground, move along the ground, and then you're going to come up the outside. Again, arms move back into Gunslinger so that you kind of go around the buttock, like that. And then when you come around the buttock, you go through the congenial area and back down through the inside of the thighs. So we're drawing the earth energy up, breathing in through the yang, breathing out and down through the yin. Moving toward yin. The inside areas of your body are yin, the outside are yang. Inside is vitality. That's why the yang protects it. That's why these are strong, protecting inside arteries. Body has an interesting design. Okay, now we're going to move to the front and the back. Breathing out down the front and up the back. So this is working with what's called protective Qi. This has to do with the energy that runs through the fascia. So you're going to come up, over, back down, go down the body, nice and slow. Now when you come up, that's when you definitely want to really come up, open the sternum. So I'm going to come up here, and then when I come through, rotate the rib cages a little bit, opening the sternum with it, push into the ground, open the core, then bring it back down, squeeze your core. So we work a lot of the Qi accordion, works just like an accordion. That's a great analogy for the core pump. Even the word accordion, the word core is in it. Okay, now we're going to bring it around, come out like a curve, then bring it up, breathing in, push into the ground, over the head, bend the knees a little bit, breathe out, coming back out. Breathe in. So it's like taking water, lifting that water, and pouring it over your head. hands into prayer. Breathe in, open. I'll go this way for a moment. Breathe out, push as you twist. Breathing out, bring the hand around. Breathe in as though you're kind of like pulling a shirt on. Come over and open. When you breathe out, come back down. Open. And one more. And open up. Relax here for a moment, but kind of keep a bit of a stretch. Push into the ground gently as you breathe in. Let yourself sink a little bit as you breathe out, but open the fingers. Let your shoulders relax. The elbows drop a little bit. By doing so, you'll feel more activity in the tendons, okay? This is where we're going. Your muscles will deteriorate with age. There's nothing we can do about this. We can kind of prolong it, but nothing like the tendons. If we take care of our tendons can stay strong our entire life, and they can keep getting stronger. And this is why we work the elasticin with this as well. So in Qi Gong, Tajiwan, these different forms, we like to try to focus a lot on the tendons. So that's what you're focusing on here. Tendon power. Tendon changing power. Work with it slowly, and then slowly, because after a while you'll feel that the electrical will calm down a little bit, and then when it does, reach a little bit more. So kind of like in yoga with downward dog, there's a saying that your heels should never touch the ground in downward dog. No matter what, once your heels touch the ground, time to evolve, move back a little bit further, work the heels towards the ground. So this is kind of the same way. We come to that comfort place where you don't feel it anymore, and then you move a little bit deeper. Just a little bit. Try to get the shoulders to relax. Don't sacrifice tension in the shoulders for more reach. Listen to this area, right in here. You're really going to feel it there when you're stretching out. That's the area you want to listen to the most. You'll feel it opening lung 1 and lung 2 areas as well. Okay, next we're gonna, so relax it a little bit, drop the fingers, and then we're gonna lift the fingers and push. Try to eventually, very slowly, stretch your fingers. Drop the elbows though, so you want the elbows to start rotating this way a little bit. And then you drop them a little bit, and then you wanna try to open and stretch the hands, and then push a little bit, then try to stretch the hands back toward the forearms a little bit more, and then stretch out a little bit. This will take a little time. Take your time with it. Any of you who are working a lot on a computer, several of you in here are doing a lot of this right now. Carpal tunnel issues, that kind of thing, elbow in through the neck. This is fantastic for that. It really draws it out. Okay, then we're going to do little circles, but you're going to push into the ground. Almost there. We're almost there. Breathe it in. Whenever you feel it's a lot, push deeper into the ground. You'll notice it'll release a little bit. It'll give you a few more seconds. Buying time. Now we're going to get right into the shoulders. If you have a lot of shoulder tension, just work it minutely. We're going to work the hips and the spine with it. Breathe in as you're coming up and breathe out as you're going down. Okay. And we'll slow it down. Reach through the fingers. Almost there. Try to point it toward the inner forearm. Relax a little bit. We're going to come down nice and slow. And we're going to come back up. Keep the form though. Push into the ground. Little white crane. Bend the elbows a little bit. Bring it back down. Relax it. Relax the shoulders. So these are pumps for all that tension in your arms and your shoulders and your neck. It's important to get these tensions out, especially when we're working with the electromagnetic body. And now relax it. And now like wings, going to start with the elbows. And then out, bring the elbows back in first. So the elbows go out first and they come back in first. Rotate through the rib cage so that the sternum comes forward. And then when you come back down, bring it back in. Okay, now we're going to come up, push into the ground, hands together, coming in, breathing out, sink, push into the ground, breathe in, open, breathe out, breathe in. If you get to here and you feel full with the breath, just come right back out. Try not to retain your breath. Try not to hold it. Work with the flow. You want to feel this really gentle transition between the inhale back into the exhale. You don't want, you know how that kind of happens when you're trying to go from the inhale to the exhale? You want a nice, easy stream. That's usually happening because of pressure that has built up from holding the breath. And so you don't want that to happen. Come back in, bring the hands in. Okay, now we're gonna breathe in. Turn the hands, breathe in. Face the hands to each other, breathe out, draw back with your elbows. Okay, last few, really make sure you're pumping the core here. We really want to get the energy moving out to the arms. Does anybody know anything about butterflies? When a butterfly is coming out of its cocoon, its abdomen is pretty well filled. And the wings themselves are like decrepit, they're kind of in like this. And it moves the energy from its abdomen out into the wings. And that's how it first gets the wings to really open. As it's doing this, of course, it has to break through a cocoon in order to do this. So we want to feel the relationship between the pumping of the core, of course this is the pumping of the diaphragm, and the rhythms of the energy that you feel moving through your arms, especially the fluid energy. Okay, and we'll do one more. Bring it down, ground it before we start moving into the magnetism. So we're going to bring the hands in first. Slowly begin pressing the hands together. So we're going to start here today. Drop the elbows a little bit so that you're not lifting your shoulders. And we're going to very, very, very slowly begin pushing the hands. You don't want to do this hard. We're going to get into a harder push later. But for this one, because you don't want to stress out your neck or your shoulders, you want to bring it to about a half push. If you can calibrate it slowly, so you're slowly building the push, then when you get to about halfway, try to maintain that exact amount of pressure. Try to use your core and your breathing with this. Close the eyes, go inside, feel how that relates. Your breathing, your core, the pushing of the hands.
Pushing halfway to our maximum?
Halfway, yes.
Okay.
And then just try to maintain it, try to pace it once you're there. Okay, before we move on, with your eyes closed, stretch your eyes right back, so as though you wanted to look at the back of your skull. Do it gently without force, and the eyes are closed. And just try to look back. Hold that for maybe 10 seconds. Then look straight up, as though you're trying to look right through your crown. Hold that for about 10 seconds. Then try to look out your right ear. Again, 10 seconds, and then after that, the left ear. Try to look out the left ear. Try not to turn your head with it. And then after that, try to look straight down into your body. Again, 10 seconds. And then relax with the eyes for 10 seconds. And then open them when you're ready. And now we're going to really relax the arms. Let them drop for a moment. Draw the elbows back. Then move forward. Wiggle the hips. Get them moving. Try to get your whole spine moving with it. Like that. Slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Extend right out, bend a little bit, and begin slowly pushing. Try to relax the shoulders. You want to get the shoulders to sink. You don't want to draw tension from your shoulders. You want to instead, just like what we were doing with, the paws, that was a little preparation, to get into the hands again. Make them big. Use your imagination, use your mind. Make them big. Push them. Slowly, but until eventually they're pressing as hard as they can. Then maintain that for just a moment. Yep, get a good shake with it. Push until your arms shake. When they really start shaking, try to draw your elbows in more. Relax your shoulders, draw the elbows in more. But don't pull in. Try to keep the elbows out here, like this, because you're working with the long tendons. And now very slowly let it dissolve. Slowly, we're calibrating again. We're trying to learn to understand the degrees of our strength, as well as the degrees of our tension. And then once you feel completely relaxed, open the hands a little bit. Keep them close first so that you can let it build. Now, if you're really feeling it, do little circles. So you're moving around the poles, okay? So if you ever hold two magnets that are round, and you kind of go like this with them, that's exactly what you're feeling, okay? So you can see that this is magnetism, this is not muscle memory. This is an energy we're going to be cultivating more and more and more. Okay, open a little bit more. Okay, now we're going to breathe in, push into the ground, really open it. Stretch it, bring the hands back out. And again, because we're already charged, we can go right into the push. Relax the shoulders, drop the elbows with it. Let's try to stay in alignment with your heart center. Really give it a push. If you can, try to make sure your wrists are together so that the back of the hands are together properly. Yeah, that way you're using your shoulders more properly. Really give it. Really give it. Almost there. This is going to get you breathing. You're going to feel the heat. Thermodynamics has a lot to do with magnetism too. Thermodynamics has a lot to do with particles getting very excited and very active when they're hot, and then getting very sluggish when they're cold. Okay, ready? Dissolve it. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. And then we're going to bring the hands in alignment with each other. Whatever you feel, let it go. If you really feel it pulling, especially quick, bend those knees because it can knock you off your feet. Don't hold it, let it hold itself. This is what we're trying to train ourselves into, is to allow postures to hold themselves once they're magnetized. It's going to rework your nerves and your neural net a little bit too, so you just let it do that. That happens over time more and more and more. Breathe with the belly. Get the belly really moving here. Let it dissolve on its own. Push into the ground a little bit, see what happens. Feel it grounding. so just stand in this stance, draw the elbows back. You're going to let the electromagnetism work through the upper portion of your posture. I'm going to come down and do a little energy thing on each of you. Maybe we can turn this a little bit. Oh no, maybe we'll just stop here for a moment, if that's okay. Yeah, okay. But we can just let it keep running right now. Okay, so just stay in stance, just relax, and I'm going to come around. Okay, so I'll start with you. So what you're going to do here is I'm going to push your arms down and pull them. You're going to try to lift them as much as you can without lifting your shoulders. So you want to go like this. That's what you want to do. I'm not going to let you, okay? Start it slow. The whole process should take about 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, now really push. And now let it dissolve nice and slow, nice and slow. Layer it nice and slow. Okay. Completely relax. Let them float. Just relax them. Okay, so I'm going to pull your arms down like this. Try to keep your head straight up so it's in alignment with the anus. Don't lift your shoulder to lift your arms, and don't lift your elbows to lift your arms. Try to lift out like, you okay with that?
Yeah.
And you just stop wherever there's tension.
Okay.
You won't even get that far anyway. Okay, hold on. Can I do something for a second? Relax. Okay. Good, okay. Remember, don't lift your arms up though. Lift down and out. Yep, there you go. And let it dissolve. I don't want to stress out your shoulder too much, so we're not going to do it too long. Let it dissolve nice and slow. Nice and slow. Okay, now let it go. Let it float. You've done this before, so you know what to do. No, nice and slow. Nice and slow. Should be very gradual. You're very strong, Glow. Okay, now really give it. And now let it dissolve. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. Relax it completely now. Let it dissolve. Don't lift up. Down and out. Really give it. And let it relax. Okay, so what you're doing is, I think you heard what I was saying over there.
So just down and out?
Yeah, just down and out without lifting your shoulders.
Slowly.
Very slowly. Can I really give it? And let it dissolve nice and slow, nice and slow, nice and slow. Relax it. Completely let it relax. And just let it do what it does. Okay, relax. Can I? Okay. Just gonna shake out your shoulders for a moment. You got some clunking in there. Okay. So what we're gonna do is try to stretch down and out without lifting your shoulders and try to lift my hands. But I'm not gonna let you. But do it really slow and gradual. Really give it, really try to lift me up, and let it dissolve. Let it dissolve, let it completely dissolve. Let it do whatever it does. Okay. So everyone has different experiences when that's happening, depending on tension through, of course, the neck, the shoulders, and all that. Wait till the really nice weather comes and we can start practicing with trees, doing tree pushing and that. The energy of trees doing this is nothing compared to just me doing it with you or us doing it ourselves. It's amazing. Okay, so we're gonna breathe in, open, breathe out, bring it down, bend with it, breathe in, bring it down, and now we're gonna finish off with some nice shaking. So just close the eyes. You want to just a nice relaxed shake. You want to relax the internal belly. Try to get the internal belly to jiggle. You want to feel your organs jiggling here. Every so often you can let out a ha. That helps to clean the emotional well. Remember, bring the shoulders back with it a little bit. You don't want clunking in the shoulders. And then we'll go side to side a little bit. And then relax again. Bring the hands up. Just get the hands just a little bit more vigorous. Elbows are dropped. We're almost there. Slowly bring the hands back down. And then shake up the spine. Give the spine a nice little shake out. And slow it down. Slow it down. And stop. Relax, palms forward. Keep them close to your body though. Get the shoulders to relax. Close the eyes. Relax. I'm going to do a little sound bath for you now while you're grounding and charging at the same time. Focus on your breathing. feel this tomorrow, and then, well, not as much tomorrow as you probably will the second day, because these effects are so subtle. So we'll just finish off with just a couple of like loosen up kind of exercises, because we did a lot of kind of stance work today, not a whole lot of leg moving. But it'll help you feel more grounded too. And then reverse direction. Bring your arms out and just shake out your right leg. And the other leg. So hot and cold really helps. So if you can do cold water and hot water, both help. The cold water reduces the inflammation, gets the toxicity out, tonifies. The heat really brings in proteins, heat proteins that really help to heal. Cold water isn't healing really, it's tonifying and cleansing. And it's still healing, but it doesn't build, is what I mean. And so the proteins from the heat, that super increase of circulation, that also really helps as well. So just trying to balance between the two if you can. Okay, so we're going to breathe in, open, we're just going to close out. Bring the hands into prayer. And then breathe in. Third eye, heart center, lower dantian. Hands around the wrist line. And open. Thank you. Namaste. You're welcome.
So I know you guys really